Doing it again, because I got my tabby boy. Hi, Leather Rokk here. Welcome to my channel. What do you think of this makeup look I got right now? This is in my series of using up the palettes you already have to save money because most stores aren't open and a lot of people are unemployed and times are tough. So I'm going to be dipping into the Too Faced Christmas Tree palette, or rather Christmas Star palette. But before I do that, I think you want to see somebody. Come here, baby. Oh, look at I got Cassie. Oh, she's purring. Oh, yeah, now she's going to be bitching and moaning. So, if you want to see how I came up with this look and you want to see my cats, stay tuned. Okay, let's put on some makeup. This is my Cassie girl. Yes, I just woke her up out of a sound sleep because since she can't hear, I could sneak up on her and I could scoop her up and I can give her kisses and she can complain because she's a miserable little girl. And I now have gungy bungees on my hands. So I gotta wash them. And I got my tabby boy. He was hiding under my bed because he decided that he doesn't want to be in my videos. And, you know, I got to realize that my life is important too. And you guys want to see my cats. So, tabby boy, my baby. Now I really got to wash my hands because I got gungy bungees. Okay, now that I've washed my hands and tabby boy wanted to get out of my room and maybe he needs to use a litter box or something. So I'm going to take my hair back and I hope this lighting is not too terribly bad. I moved my stand-up desk that I used to film with up against this wall where the semi-gloss paint kind of reflects the light and maybe you could see my face better. And I apologize if there's a bunch of noise outside. You may or may not know that around this time there's a lot of civil unrest going on. And we're going to be having a curfew at 7 p.m. today, and I understand anybody seen outside is subject to arrest. Not only people walking around, but people in cars. So hopefully wherever you are safe and hunkered down and maybe boarded up. And if you got some means of self-defense, be locked and loaded and ready so that people don't steal from you or anything. Now, I am going to make a look using, one of my themes lately is to use up the things that I have and certainly not to buy new things. If any of you guys are like me, and I think many of you are, there is much less money coming in. Many people are out of work. If you are working, maybe your hours have been cut. A lot of the work at home stuff that I do, there's much less opportunities going on right now because there's not a need for advertisers as much because they know that the American public, and in fact all over the world, people don't have the money that they had normally just maybe 3-4 months ago. So I'm going to be playing around with this Too Faced Cosmetics Christmas Star, and it's not my favorite palette. It really isn't because it seems very, very, very neutral intensive. And I don't think a lot of the colors have as much dramatic payoff as I would prefer. But that said, I want to work with this because I want to use what I have. And also, this comes with highlighters and blush colors. So, especially if you don't require too much very bright shadows, this could be a good standalone palette since you got your cheek colors, your highlighters, and a bunch of eyeshadows. So, let's get started. First thing I'm going to do now, I already have foundation on. I don't want to reach across the room to get it because I didn't think to leave it out with me, but I am wearing the foundation from The Ordinary, the full coverage kind, in the lightest shade 1.0 NS. The N stands for neutral and the S stands for silver highlights. I am going to prep my eyelids right now with a color that is too dark for me, but it is from a brand in Asia called Sassy Lady, or Sace Lady, but I think it's Sassy, S-A-C-E Lady. And their lightest shade just has a number 01. It is, maybe to most people it would be pale. It's not really light enough for me. But I'm just going to prep my lids with it. And you know what? I didn't even think to bring a mirror. So let me get a mirror. Alrighty. So now that I'm actually prepared, I am going to do the best to stay in frame. And I'm going to prep my eyelids. Since this color is not quite dark enough to match my skin tone, what I'm going to do is I am going to put it everywhere except the very, very edges of my eyebrows. Partly because I don't want to smear my eyebrow makeup, and partly because since this color is darker than my skin tone, I need to put a lighter color up there. I'm also going underneath my eyes because I want to be able to have a sticky surface for the eyeshadow to go underneath. Now, I'm going to do something I don't always do unless I'm using a color too dark. I'm going to go into my wonderful bag of would-be foundations and eyelid prep colors, and I'm going to find something nice and light for my brow bone area. And what is lighter than white? This is one of my favorite makeup compacts. This is by Ben Nye. It's their cream makeup, and some people, it's Ben Nye cream color in used to be called Clown White, but it's C0. Gosh, it's over 10 years old. I got this at one of those Halloween superstores in Manhattan, New York City, over 10 years ago. I got it on my birthday, and since my birthday is kind of close to Halloween, I was able to take advantage of a deep discount. And I'm all about the discounts because I'm not as rich as many of you guys. I like to have the style of a person who's more prosperous, but I'm really not. I try to just make the best with the things that I have, and I shop sales, and I try to acquire things for free if I'm so lucky. So I put my finger on that compact that is really getting down there. As you could see, I definitely hit pan. And I probably have another 5 years use of it because I don't use it a whole lot. I've used it at goth clubs all over as whiteface. I use it for my zebra stripe. It's really, really useful, not just for the palest of people. So you can even use it as a matte highlighter. And I'm just going to touch a dot here and here. That's all I need. Then I'm going to blend it. Sometimes it's better to sweep a little and tap. The tapping helps to avoid smearing the eyebrow color. Like I've been doing for the past 2 months at least. This is the eyebrow color that I'm using. I was given like 12 of them. Now, I understand that some people maybe think that this is an odd eyebrow color. And in fact, I've been getting some flack recently on Facebook from people that were on my friends list. And people will be saying the rudest comments. And, well, after I tell these people off, I've been naming and shaming them, and I've been unfriending them. So, but I know you guys wouldn't do anything like that, because if you're watching a makeup video, then, and you're watching me, you expect me to come with dramatic looks, because that's just the way it is. Another thing I want to mention to you is, you know how my roots are really growing out there. As soon as most of you guys are going to be able to go to salons and get your hair done, then I will do my hair. And as a matter of fact, I will be making some videos doing it on camera. I can do this myself. I could have done it months ago, but out of solidarity for you guys, I've been holding off on it, because if you guys are having roots done, roots hanging out and not being able to get your hair done, assuming most of you guys don't have a beauty school background and you have to pay for somebody else to do it, I am willing to hold off so that I can look like I need things done too, because we're all in this together. I know this isn't easy for any of you guys. With the pandemic on our hands, and now we've got civil unrest going on, we're probably spending even more time holed up in our homes for safety, as well as to keep out of this pandemic. And I want to show that I'm in it with you guys. I love you, except for maybe you haters, you know. And I want us to feel like we're some kind of family. We're a YouTube family. We're a worldwide family. I know I got viewers all over the world. And I want to be your friend who you probably haven't met. I think that if I can be honest with you and I can share my life with you, and if you're kind enough to spend some time with me, I want us to support each other. And if anything I'm doing is helping you in some way, maybe getting your mind off of your troubles or giving you some ideas for things you can do using your own stuff, I want to do that, and I'm probably going to learn things from you guys too. So I'm going to do one more check to see if my eyebrows are as perfect as they're going to be. Okay. But I do like this gray. Because it's so much easier than trying to get an exact purple match. Once I have my hair re-dyed again, then I have a selection of purple things that I can use and I could get a better match. But for now, the gray stays, and if people don't like it, I don't know why they don't. It seems like the only people that are critical are the people who don't wear makeup at all. So, and they look nothing like me, and it seems to me that it's insecure people that cut each other down, and I've never understood that. I've never understood women who cut down other women, or men who are competitive with other men. It's ridiculous. We're all human beings. There's always going to be somebody that looks better, makes more money, has a better body, has more things, whatever, the things you don't like. Get over it. You're never going to be the absolute best, and there's always somebody waiting to take your place. And even if you were the best, everything is temporary. So, and I got over my jealousy years ago. So, why hate on each other? It's stupid. So, back to the makeup, shall we? Now, since I am obviously editing this together, you already know what you're about to see. I got my nice bag of freshly washed brushes here, and you already saw my cats, so let's get to it. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to use a Vivace brush. It's really good for lining. It's good for packing on color. And Cassie's getting ready to leave my room because I forgot to barricade my door. Crafty little girl. Oh, you want to know what she did? I was eating my lunch today, and she got up on my bed begging for it. And yesterday, you want to know what she did? I was making something with canned pork and 2 kinds of chili beans, and I put it over rice, and I'm sitting on my bed in front of my computers eating my food, and she jumps up on my bed begging for it. She eats beans, okay? And of course, sometimes there's a problem when you eat beans, so I was really worried that she would get fragrant. Fortunately, she didn't. But yeah, she's a bean-eating cat. Oh boy, yeah, but I love her. A bean-eating, hard-of-hearing pussycat that I love very much. Now, with this brush, I'm going to dip into this white color. And all the colors in this palette have names. And the name for this color is called North Pole. And you know what? Considering how steamy, hot, and beautiful it is outside, the sun's out. I didn't check the weather forecast, but I'm guessing it has to be in the middle 70s here. I'm tapping this onto the brush. I have to be careful and not tip this over too much because this palette is kind of like those fragile ColourPop palettes in that you tip them over and the tins fall out. So I don't want to do that because this is one of the more expensive palettes I ever bought. I got it on sale, but it was still over $40. And to me, that's a lot of money for a palette. And considering that it is so neutral and I don't really love it that much, I paid what I think is too much for it. But the fact that it has all these other colors in it and it could be a standalone palette, it was probably good to get. So I'm covering this with white. Okay, then I'm going to get my mirror out, and then I'm going to get like a 1/3 of an inch line right at the edge of my eyebrows. This, now, if you are not as pale as me, you might want to get a slightly darker color, but you do want a color that's kind of sort of like your skin tone so that you can have the proper effect with this. I really love white or a white-like color on my brow bone. If you have very, 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 very dark skin, you could do a light or pink frost or even a gold frost, but I'm picking white because I think it will not clash with the other colors I'm about to put. Sorry, I keep on dipping my head down out of frame, but where I'm actually setting this palette when I'm not using it is the cat bed. that I have covered with newspaper so that I don't get kitty gungy bungees on anything. Oh, I am hot. I'm hot, hot, hot. I turned my fan off. You know, poor people like us don't have air conditioning. I certainly don't want to open up the window because we have people gathering outside. I think they know that there's going to be a curfew pretty soon and nobody wants to go to jail, so they're maybe having today's last hurrah. And if you hear any clinking, that's going to be the sound of people throwing beer bottles around. Let's see, I've got this, and it looks kind of obvious, but it will be blended as I put more colors in. Can you see that? Or should I lift this up? Here's what I'll do is I'll lift this closer to here. And you see how the white actually kind of blends in with my skin tone because I'm that much of a pale face? Oh, hot, 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 hot. Hot, hot, hot. Oh, this is my top. Oh, matter of fact, you don't know this, but until I'm ready to film my turnaround, which is going to be the last thing I film, that's when I'm going to put my stockings on. Right now, I'm bare-legged under a miniskirt because stockings, unless they're fishnets, they kind of make you feel hot too, but I'm around the house, and since you can't see my bare legs, I can do this. Okay, I'm going to set this brush down here. Then I'm going to get out another brush, and I got so many brushes to choose from. And the thing is, I have more brushes that I bought like 5 years earlier or whatever. They're somewhere in my hallway underneath packing boxes or something. I actually have started packing some things in advance of whenever the move is going to be, and it probably, for all I know, may not be for a couple of years, but I don't know. I know I can't move during the summertime because that's the worst time to move if you live in an area where the rents can fluctuate unless you have a lease. I have a brush in my hand now. It is a B&H Cosmetics Studio Pro number 5. Nice big fluffy brush. And I'm going to hold this in my hand, but I'm not going to use it yet. I want to get another brush in my hand, and I want to get it a smaller brush. I have to be careful opening this. I don't want to break the, you see where the handle is attached to the zipper? This actually was left behind by a friend of mine who died, who ended up leaving me Cassie the garden cat. So I think that by having something that was my friend's, I honor her, because I really miss her a lot. Anybody who has friends who passed away, you know what I'm feeling. And you know when people drink and they pour a little bit of beer or whatever out for their dead homies? Well, I miss my friends who passed away. Okay, I can't get emotional now. Not supposed to do it. Okay, what are we going to do here? I am going to use a Wet n Wild. This is one of those, I believe it's called a crease brush. A lot of times I like to use this with foundation when I do a cut crease, but I'm not going to do that today. I'm going to go straight into this purple shade. This is my favorite shade in the whole thing. Am I going to? No. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to actually put it on one of the highlighters. The palest shade here, and they all have a name, it's called Lit Up. See, just because this is supposed to be for a highlighter or a blush doesn't mean you can't use it for other things. I'm going to load Lit Up on this brush like this. Then I'm going to get the mirror that slipped out of my field of vision now. And see, that's the only thing I really don't like about this palette is it doesn't come with a mirror. Ah, here's my mirror. So I'm going to take Lit Up and I am going to put it on my lid. And you know what? I think I need to get this closer to the camera. I'm going to tap it on just the lid itself. Try to follow the natural, just the dome of my eyeball. Then I'm going to set this down and I'm going to reload the brush for the other side. You know, see, usually when I do makeup videos, I diagram things in advance in my notebook. And of course, you know I have more notebooks now because of my very lucky score last week. I'm going to put this on the other eyelid, but first pull this up close so you can see what I'm doing. And hey, I'm balancing this computer with one hand like a waitress. And I know that's a real tough job. If any of you guys are waitresses or ever done that before, I was a cocktail waitress one time in my life. I only lasted a month. And when I dropped that tray of Corona long necks off the second floor balcony onto the dance floor, luckily nobody was underneath. I could have really hurt somebody. And needless to say, I didn't last long in that job. Now, this is so close to my natural color, you can't really see anything right now. But what I'm about to do, you will see. I'm going to put this down. Oh, I should have taken a red pill. My nose is starting to drip. My sinuses, in my whole family, we have sinus issues. I'm going to get this brush that I told you about, the B&H Cosmetics Studio Pro number 5. And this time I am going to dip into this purple. Because the color payoff on even shades like this are not extreme, I'm going to really load this brush good. I'm going to start with the tip, and I'm going to wiggle around and get good covering on it. Okay? Then I'm going to grab this mirror, and then after I'm going to try to make sure that you can see this, but I really prefer to look in the mirror than try to look in there because I need to see what I'm doing too. I'm going to go right where the crease is, and I'm going to just sweep and sweep and sweep. This still looks awfully subtle, doesn't it? I am going to go back into this. You know, I hope the convention outside can't see what I'm doing. I'm like 7 feet from my window, but I had to clear my curtain substitutes off the window to have more lighting. I used to have level-or blinds. We had blinds in all of our rooms. But when you have cats, you probably know that blinds sometimes become casualties because kitties like to play with them and break them because cats are cats, you know. And if you have cats, it just goes with the territory. I am going to take this loaded brush and I'm going to go on the other side. Sweep and sweep and sweep and sweep. Sweep and sweep and sweep. Back on this one, sweep and sweep and sweep and sweep. Now, time to get close to the computer and see. Okay, I obviously need a hell of a lot more. So I'm going to go back into this palette and I'm going to go back to that purple because I really want this purple to be obvious. I want to get a more dramatic look from this palette. You know, I really want to use up the things that I have. Why have a whole lot of makeup palettes and it goes bad before you get to use it? Even though I've never had an eyeshadow go bad. They do come with expiration dates now. You always have to worry about bacterial growth, but something that's dry like this is not going to have the chance of bacterial growing nearly as much as things that are liquids. And you can always sterilize this with rubbing alcohol and let it evaporate. But if I don't touch it with dirty hands, if I wash my hands after I handle my cats, if I just don't act irresponsibly, I should be okay. I want to use up the things that I have before buying new stuff. I don't want to be one of these makeup collectors that has enough makeup for 10 lifetimes, even though I think that ship sailed long ago. I love makeup. I love pretty things. I think if you're watching this video, you're just like me. But I need to intensify this. And I don't want to muddy this color up with a different color. So I'm going to sweep and sweep and sweep. I'm going to really try hard not to get the color on the eyelid that I already prepped with the highlighter color. And I'm going to go back into this. And I'm going to load this brush again. And try not to drip snots onto the palette. That would suck. Of course, sometimes the mistakes make for good video. I'm going to sweep and sweep and sweep. So, and I'm going to talk to you about life while doing this because I've heard you guys like my stories. And if you don't, you'll let me know. And if the comment's polite, I'll post it. And if it's not, I won't. And if you're really, really nasty, I will report it and block it. So let's play nice, okay? I'm going to try to intensify this on Cassie's back. Oh, Cassie is a bold little girl. I'm telling you, between her going eating my food, oh, last night she made me laugh so bad. She was digging in to those pork and beans, and she slept here and she didn't fragrance my room. I'm glad, because animal gas is not a pleasant thing. You guys who have pets know what I'm talking about, but I heard dogs are a lot worse, and I've never owned a dog before, or shall I say, I've never been a pet parent to a dog. I don't think we should talk about ownership with animals as if they're property. Animals have feelings like we do, and they have emotions, and we should treat them with better respect. Of course, those of you who are vegetarians might be asking me why I'm a meat eater if I feel like that. And you know what? If my roommates were farmers and they raised pigs, I'd probably give up pork for a while because you can't eat pets. And if I'm caring for animals and I have a relationship with them, it humanizes them. And like, do you eat your friends? Come on. And if you do, please don't tell me because there's enough sickos in the world. So I'm going to swipe, 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 swipe. Then I'm going to bring this up here and take a look and see and hope it's symmetrical. And try to wing it out a little bit so that it's no further out than the tail of your eyebrows. Everybody's eyebrow shape is different. Everybody's got more or less lid space. So whatever you see I'm doing, if this is giving you any ideas, just adjust according to the shape of your eyes. Try to make it as symmetrical as possible. And it may or may not be perfect. I know my looks may not be perfect, and I'm sure they're not. But you know what? We're human beings, and things are not going to necessarily be perfect. So I hope it's good enough. Okay, I need some more color. I don't know about you. I just love bright, dramatic colors the best. I'm tired of I want to give a variety of looks, but I want to focus on things that I love. Sometimes I showcase things for variety so that there's something for everybody, but there's also the concept that if you try to make things for everybody, you'll end up pleasing nobody. And since I did not niche my channel down to just one subject, I know that makes things more difficult. But I wanted to put out something today that was not controversial, and I wanted to put up something that was uplifting. I wanted to put up something to get people's mind off of some of the ugliness in the world. I have a nice big brush here. This is a vegan brush, speaking of not using animals. This is by B&H Cosmetics, and it's the vegan number 7 or maybe 5. V5. The V stands for vegan. All their vegan brushes have silver handles. I really love the B&H Cosmetics brushes. But of course, I love the dollar store brushes from Vivace and some of Wet n Wild's brushes too. I love saving money. I'm a big on the bargains. I've always been that way. That's the way I was raised. All right. You know what I'm going to do? There is a dark and bright color, but it's matte, and it's called Cranberry. And it is right here. And you know what? I'll go ahead and use this brush. I'm going to hit it here. Then I'm going to turn it around, and I'm going to wiggle it. So I've got a nice dot on the brush. Then I'm going to, you know what? Let me see if I can do this using this computer as my mirror. Now, I don't have a ring light or anything fancy. I'm just going to hope that the light is reflected behind me nice enough so that you can see this. I'm going to touch this just before the outer corner. And I'm going to press it in, kind of like I'm thinking of thumbing my eye out. But of course I wouldn't do that, because why would I do it to myself? You save that for self-defense, right? Touch it, then pull it. Lift up and pull it. And what this is going to do is it's going to help to create an outer wing, and it's still a nice bright color. And even though you prep this lid surface here with a highlighter after your color, and then another thing I'm going to do is I'm going to hold it like this to make it narrower and help to make the outer V. Then I'm going to set this down, and I'm going to go back into the palette, And I'm going to do the same thing on the other eye. Again, being careful not to dump things out. I had one of these fall out. Fortunately, it was on my bed and it wasn't face down. And I was able to just push it in. So be careful with these palettes. You know, for as expensive as Too Faced palettes are, unless you get a sale. And this wasn't even that deep of a discount. It was like maybe 20% off or something. You know, there have been some half off sales, I think on QVC or HSN for Too Faced, but I really need to shop my closet now. Unless I found something that I felt that I absolutely couldn't live without, I need to really think of my budget, which is becoming lower and lower. One thing I'm going to have to do when the beauty supplies open up is I'm going to need to get a bottle of peroxide so that I can do my roots when I'm ready to do them. Okay, you see the color on the... I'm going to do what I did on the other side. Stick it in here like I want to hurt myself, but of course I don't. Wiggle, then pull out. Wiggle. Now, this doesn't look obvious enough. That can only mean one thing. I need to reload my brush. So I'm going to do that. And these two have to be my favorite colors in this palette. I was trying to start off using the neutrals and the colors that I don't like because I want to make sure that I have that I'm using as much as possible. But I think I already showed you at least one neutral look from this. Thinking especially if all you're going to do is stay at home, you don't want to use your most glamorous stuff if nobody's going to see you, unless maybe you're going to be doing video chats with people, or maybe you're going to take a bunch of selfies hoping that something really spectacular comes out of it that you can save. And you might as well make good use of your time if you're stuck at home, right? Whether you're quarantining or whether you're hiding out from angry mobs, you know. But I'm not doing a boring neutral look for you guys today. I'm going to get back using this as my mirror. Again, touch, 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 pull out. Make sure that it's got that angle. Then I'm going to set this down and I'm going to reload again. And hope that I don't drip on camera because that's really tacky. But I'm tacky sometimes, you know. I'm not perfect. You guys, some of you guys sure have no problem with letting me know that I'm not perfect. And I realize that when you put yourself out there, sometimes there's going to be slings and arrows. That just comes with the territory. You think I haven't been booed off of stages before? You know, you got to have a thick skin. Now, if people are doing more than insulting, then you got to deal with it. And if people get threatening, then you have to deal with it. Oh, and on that end, because after the recent video, there have been some threats made. You guys haven't seen them because since I moderate comments, those were deleted and blocked. But I have made arrangements for security for when I go out. And the person does have an FOID, which is a firearms license. And those are very hard to get if you're not a police officer. But just a word up that I am going to have security when I do a lot of outside filming, and I'm sorry it's come to that, but I have to think of my own safety, and any of you females especially, I'm sure you'll understand. And for those of you who hate our president, and so you have a problem with me, and you think that I bring things on myself because I choose to support my president, first of all, you are out of line. This is America, and we do have a First Amendment. And if you are going to judge somebody and wish ill on them just because of how they think and who they vote for, then basically you're being like a thought police. And you cannot discriminate against somebody or judge somebody or try to harm them just because of things like who they vote for. That is just wrong, and it's ridiculous. You know, if I thought I was having problems when George W. Bush was president and when he was running for re-election, and I caught slings and arrows from both sides. But in the age of Trump, it's gotten even worse. And I don't know where people think that they can try to intimidate people into silence, try to control their speech, try to wish them harm or give them a hard time just because of who they vote for. That is bullshit. You know, I know that I am this chihuahua that thinks I'm a pit bull sometimes. You guys who actually know me laugh at this because you know me. But I refuse to accept certain negative things, especially things that can put me in danger. So I'm going to be smart and proactive and protect myself. But I'm not going to be silenced. I'm not going to take any more videos down just because some people's panties got in a bunch, okay? So, and maybe if those of you who are confused because I showed a lot of pretty things in this town and I started to talk about the ugly, that's because I felt that I was misrepresenting myself or misrepresenting things by showing things, and then I come off and I tell you things that are bad. That's not being hypocritical. That's just giving the complete picture so that I don't inadvertently give somebody the wrong impression. If somebody's like me and they want to run around and say somebody dresses slutty like I do, and say maybe they're in one of those groups that is at higher risk of violence or something, what if you came out here and something ended up happening based on what you thought was my recommendation? I can't in good conscience leave you vulnerable to that. So that's why I thought it was important to let you guys know and be aware and to discourage people from putting themselves in dangerous situations. So anyway, what do you think of this? Doesn't that open things up and make it much more obvious? Oh man, I'm so fucking hot. Hot, 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 hot. All right. We're not done though. I'm looking in here, and you know what? I want to get some kind of color in here. So I'm going to get my brushes out. And there. So, in other news in my life, today I had planned on transferring my tomato plants. And in fact, the person who is going to be one of my security people, he and I talked on the phone yesterday, and he said, why don't you, because he knows I cannot deal with the noonday sun. I can't even 3 o'clock. I can't be in the sun. I shouldn't be. So he was going to meet me here, and he was going to help me move my tomato plants to the garden area. But then I found out like a couple of hours ago that we are going to have a 7 p.m. curfew today. And the cops are going to be stopping people on the street and stuff. And I don't want to be caught outside, especially since I might not be able to prove where I live and all that stuff. So then I tried calling him. If you know me, you know that I'm not a telephone person at all. And I don't call too much. I'm much more of an internet person, but not everybody's on the internet. So I actually tried calling him today to let him know that I did not think that I was going to be able to do things, because first of all, I knew I had this video to do. Second of which, I don't want to be caught outside, and something tells me that the transplanting process is going to take a lot longer than I thought, because I'm going to have to cut those plants out of the pots. I'm going to have to work up the ground. I haven't done that yet because all these windy days we've been having. Why would you plow the ground, and you can't get at it for like a month or two, and meanwhile the soil blows away? That's stupid. So I'm going to have to dig up the ground and cut the plants out and put them in. And I'm not convinced that I could do that before curfew starts. So when I tried to call him, he didn't answer the phone. He never has had his voicemail set up. So I wasn't able to call him and let him know. And that kind of pissed me off. So I said, you know what? I told somebody else who lives here, I said, look, if he calls, just don't answer the phone, because today is not going to be able, I'm not going to be able to do what I thought we were going to be able to do today. I got to get this out of the way, and we're going to have a curfew, and the farmers are just going to have to understand that I have to think of what fits in with my schedule, and with all the crazy stuff that's going on right now, I have to take care of me and mine first. So anyway, this brush here is a Vivace brush that is best for packing on color. I got it at the 99-cent store. It's very, very, very useful. This is very similar to the quote-unquote C brushes that you can get from ELF, Eyes, Lips, Face. And I'm going to go in here and I'm going to get a color that, oh, you know what? I'm going to do something different. I'm going to get something kind of dark. I'm going to get this green here. There's a green called Feliz Navidad. Feliz Navidad. Feliz Navidad. I won't bore you. And I'm going to get a good coating on this. Then I'm going to get right up to the screen here, and I'm going to make one of these tail thingies. Okay. Then I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. Now, usually you do a much lighter color in here, but I'm free-forming it. I'm going to get to that look that you saw when I did my turnaround. I hope that's kind of sort of symmetrical. Oh, while I'm sweating and sweating and sweating and sweating. You know, I don't understand these roll-on antiperspirants. You wash your armpits ahead of time, then you dry them off, then you put rubbing alcohol on, and then you try to put your roll-on deodorant on, and you sweat up again before you could get it on, and so the roll-on ends up not working. It's ridiculous. Do any of you guys have that problem? I'm going to put some more on. Now, here's a brush I really love. This is another B&H Cosmetics brush. This is the Studio Pro number 9. This is a packing brush. It's also good for lining under the eyes. And that's what we're going to do. We're going to line under the eyes. And now I am going to use... I'm going to use Deepest Desire. This looks like a very, very, very dark plum. I'm going to this down here show you. It looks like a dark brown, but I'm pretty sure it's a plum. And I am going to wiggle like this and get it on here. Then I'm going to use my computer as a mirror, and I'm going to carefully then I'm going to load up the brush, and I'm going to do the other side. Supposed to tap off the excess. You might as well use the things that you have. I think I need to do it again. Okay. Here, I rather than put this up against the mirror, the wall, I'm going to leave this computer where it is. Hopefully you can see this. This look is going to be good if you have any color eyes, but especially if you happen to have green eyes like me. I think the contrast will make the green eyes pop. Of course, wearing green eyeshadow seems to make green eyes pop too, even if they're more of a dingy green with a little bit of blue and gray in it, and not a real bright green like some people are really lucky to have. Whoops. Why do I think that's not symmetrical? Okay, you know what? Pardon me when I look in this mirror. Let me see. You see what I'm doing here? I'm doing it again. I'm making the line a little bit thicker. And I know I need to clean that mirror. I need to do so many things. It's not that I'm lazy, but you have to prioritize. I've been working my day job stuff. Certain tasks that were not started crediting yesterday, so I was up until almost 6 o'clock this morning. So I didn't get up to almost noon. And in addition, there was more police activity. But I was playing one of those videos that is supposed to have prosperity subliminals in it. It's got money raining down. There's some real good videos on YouTube for that. Some of them are by people who actually are clinical psychologists, and they know how to write the right kind of affirmations, and they edit this in the background, and they have nature sounds and all kinds of things, and they're really great. Even if you don't believe in subliminals and things, they will help you to sleep by disguising some ambient noises that would otherwise disturb you. And I'm so glad I have reliable working internet right now so I can play them. It's made a big difference in the quality of my sleep, and probably made a big difference in my mental health too, because I am not as stressed when I'm able to not be wakened up by loud stereos and gunfight and all kinds of bullshit. I hope I didn't just smear things underneath. If I go like this, I'll probably get a smudge, so I'll try not to touch that. I want to do some more eyeliner, but I want to do it on the top. And I have a black pencil. This is from Ulta Beauty. It's a little pencil. This came from a makeup collection that I got just before Christmas time that I've shown you before. It is called Shine Brighter 2019. And I actually got it in a physical store on one of those days when I had to go and get my computer serviced at Best Buy. I usually put all my trips, when I go to physical stores, I put all my trips in one so that I don't have to be spending a whole lot of bus fare, because I don't have the money to do that. So I'm going to see if I can do this with one hand. You can see I sharpened this. And I'm going to very carefully follow the line of my lash line. I'm not necessarily a big fan of pencils because they smudge so easily. But truth be known, I don't plan to go out after I do this. It doesn't look to me like it's safe. So I'm just going to do YouTube things and work my day job and talk to my friends on social media. And I am so grateful that I have friends to talk to. They might be all over the world, but I do have people. And hopefully you do too. Everybody needs somebody to talk to. Wing it up a little bit. And I hope this is symmetrical. You know what? I'm going to cheat again. I'm going to go over to this mirror, and maybe you'll see my reflection when I do it. Wing it up. Wing it up. Oh, I'm sweating. Oh, I'm sweating. But if I did turn the fan on, that might make it harder for you to hear me. And that would kind of defeat the purpose. I know some of you guys watch makeup tutorials that they don't have somebody talking, they just have music, and then you see what they're doing. But I think my stories kind of are what sets my channel apart from others who might do similar content. And I'm no stranger to doing things differently. I've always been an outlier. I'm used to it. So, and anybody who knows me does not expect me to conform. For the lipstick, I'm going to use a B&H Cosmetics Color Lock lipstick. These are really great to wear if you have to wear face masks, because they are matte and they're not very smudgeable like so many other lip colors are. This color is called Passionate, and it's one of my favorites from this line because it's purple. And if you don't know how much I love purple, you don't know me. And I'm going to put the lipstick on. You know what? I'm going to do it in this mirror because I seem to screw up too much when I try to use it here. Now with these lipsticks, you want to make sure that your mouth isn't wet, because if it's wet, the color's not going to stick. Okay, and there's Cassie! Cassie the garden cat! And I realized her being so aggressive, she had to defend herself from raccoons and chipmunks or squirrels or whatever the heck's out there, rats, mice, idiotic people. And if she's hard of hearing on top of it, she had to learn to be tough to defend herself, you know? You little 5-pound little slip of a girl. So, no wonder she's the way she is. But I know she's got to be happy here. She does not miss out on love. Everybody, even my brother, who doesn't have a whole lot of admirable qualities, but he loves animals and they love him, so I got to respect that. And if you hear the bell in the background, this girl has discovered play. I don't know that anybody ever gave her kitty toys before, and we have all kinds of balls with bells in them and catnip stuff, this and that, and she loves to play. Now, the mascara that I'm about to put on is not my favorite. I'm just using it up. It's the Ulta Beauty Bold Ambition. Instead of a brush, it has 2 combs, and it's really important to get the excess from in between the 2 combs. And I'm going to pull this up close so that you can see me do this. And I'm going to really hope that it doesn't smear before I actually have the makeup done, because that just irks me so much. I know that mascara really is important, especially if your lashes happen to be see-through like mine. And you can tell it's see-through because I'm a natural redhead. Well, I know my hair isn't as bright as it was when I was 2, you know. But it really is good to have mascara on. But so many times I don't bother with it because it just smears on my eyeshadow. And then if my eyes water with my family sinus problems, that's just a given. Even it used to be mostly my eyes would water when I would go outside because the wind would blow up against my eyeballs. But it happens in the house too, and I should have taken a red pill before filming, but I really don't like to take pills too much, unless absolutely necessary. And pain pills I absolutely don't like to mess with. But last night I was getting a backache because I was hunched over my computers working my day jobs, you know, and I finally took one of those pills that was left over from dentistry, or not, yeah, was it dentistry? They must be. Oh, no, it wasn't dentistry because that would have been too long ago. But anyway, I had to take something for my backache last night. You see, now, one thing there's so many things I can't stand about this mascara. I start to put it on, right, and I don't see anything. Except it clumps near the base of my lashes, and it is so annoying. But I want to use stuff up. I don't want to open up other things. I know I have a much better mascara. I have a small size Too Faced Better Than Sex. It's not a half bad mascara, but you know, the full price is like around $25 or something, and I'm like, get the hell out of here. My father would have said, hit the bricks. Oh, I miss my dad. You know, in a couple of days it would have been his, he died at 77 and a half. On the 3rd of June, he would be 87 years old. 87 and a half. And I miss my dad. Okay, I can't get emotional now. It does not work. It doesn't look good on camera, and it messes up makeup. So I'm going to use this mirror here so I can actually see what the hell I'm doing. And I'm going to get this on. And see, then I'll have something non-controversial for my channel for tomorrow. You know, this mascara should really be great. It has the potential to be great. The 2 combs actually kind of makes sense, but I'm never going to buy it again. I mean, if it wasn't included in with the makeup collection that I got, it's not something that I'm going to get. I think when I really do run out of mascaras, I'm going to go check out some mascaras that some of you guys have recommended to me. One of them is by Essence, that I've heard from 3 or 4 people how good it is. And it's got a good price point to it, and I believe you have to go to ULTA or order online, since physical stores, many of them are closed now. And I still haven't gotten to a physical store since this pandemic. The couple times I tried getting to dollar stores or Dollar Tree, by the time I got there, the place was closed early. And now with the civil unrest that's going on, a lot of places are being boarded up preemptively because you got a bunch of entitled jerks who, while we're all angry at the idea that an innocent person was murdered, and I guess, I will say something about that too. It is disgusting what happened. Any person that abuses, tortures, or murders somebody, regardless of who color is, regardless of what your color is, regardless of what their color is, it is wrong. And yes, the guilty people need to be put into account. I definitely sympathize and I support you. But that said, even though a very, very terrible thing has happened, it's still no excuse to go to strangers' stores and steal things that aren't yours just because you're angry. That's not, first of all, it's not going to change the terrible things that happen. Second of all you're doing is harming innocent people. It's not necessary. And then what happens is those stores probably do have insurance, which means that their insurance premiums are going to go up, and it also means the prices are going to be passed on to the consumers. And that's not right. I'm older probably than some of you people, and I try to skirt the age issue because how old anybody is really nobody's damn business, especially if you're a showbiz broad. The older you seem, the less people think you're going to be able to get to work. So I try to avoid that issue. But I was in Los Angeles during the Rodney King riots, and I saw firsthand the National Guard tanks going down Hollywood Boulevard and Sunset Boulevard. I witnessed the looting. And it got so scary that just before the curfew, the significant other I had at the time, jackass that ended up stealing my car some couple of years later, incidentally. Well, we went off to Las Vegas for a couple of days. In Las Vegas, the cops there, they weren't putting up with any shit. I think the mafia was still much more in control in those days. So we hid out in Vegas because things were getting crazy around Los Angeles. So I know what it's like to live around civil unrest and riots and things. So, anyway, putting this on, then I'm going to have to do the bottom lashes and hope that my sinuses don't keep on getting worse and worse while I'm trying to film this. I think maybe I should give a few more seconds for this to dry so that it doesn't come down on here. And this mascara, one of the things I noticed with this, you know how some mascaras are buildable, and if you just go over it a few more times, then it looks better and better. With this particular kind of mascara, I notice when you keep on going over and over, instead of it just looking better and better, what it does is it does kind of clump near the base of the lashes, and what ends up happening is it glues your lashes to up against your lash line, and so it ends up looking less and less like you have mascara on. So that makes it of limited use. So I really think that this mascara is best if you don't apply too much of it. So you want a decent under eye liner so that you have the definition you want. That's just my perspective on it. Like I said in previous videos, I was about to make a wish order and I was going to get a bunch of colored mascaras for a nice cheap price, but I noticed after it was in my shopping cart for a while, the prices all of a sudden went up, way up. And my order would have gone up by practically 50%. And now more than ever, I can't afford to pay high prices for anything. Especially if I'm going to be in the market for buying a used bus or something to make a house on wheels or something to get the hell out of here. But, oh, hot, 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 hot. I'm not done. Even though my nose is running. And of course, do I have any tissues here? No, I don't. Now I'm going to get some blushes for my cheek colors. Well, first thing I'm going to do is, alright, I'm going to use one of these. This is from Vivace. I got it at a 99-cent store. And I'm going to use what's in this palette. I'm going to try to use as much as possible just from this. And since I have purple type shades in here, I'm going to use a color in that family. It is called Up to Snow Good. And you can see it is cool tone. It is like a burgundy, purplish, rosy color. And I'm going to dip into it with this brush. And I'm going to apply this almost like you would apply that contouring angle thingy. These cheek colors are suitably sheer enough on this palette, so you don't have to worry about overdoing it. That's one of the nice things about cheek colors and contour colors. You really don't want to deposit a whole lot, and then you have to worry about how to blend it away or remove the excess. Back in the day when I was, well, especially like when I was in high school, I did my blush way too heavy. It was kind of sort of fashionable. In those days, blush was often used as contour. But I would use like these red shades, and I had strong cheeks and strong lips and strong eyes. And I didn't particularly like the way I did my eyebrows because they were much more arched and they were too thin because a lot of people did overpluck them. So now I want to take a look in the mirror and see what the hell this looks like. But not done yet. I'm going to go back in here and I'm going to use this brush for my highlight. And this is an e.l.f. brush. It says Flawless Concealer Brush. But you know, just because a brush has a certain label on it doesn't mean that you have to combine it to that use. If anything, I like to use my bare fingers for things like concealer anyway. But I'm going to dip into a color called Lit Up. It's the palest of the highlighters. These highlighters are quite subtle, so you don't have to worry about overdoing the shine. Like that video I did on the beach where when I look at how bright the highlighter was, that was too much. But hey, with the disclaimer that what you're about to see may not be perfect, I think that's how I cover my ass. So, got that cheek done. Then dip in again. And you just follow where the light hits. Don't need to do this, but I am. Thing is, when you do that, you can get too much on. It's really, these colors are subtle enough and the payoff is not that intense, so it's really hard to do too much. You do some here, here, here. Now for the nose, because you need to get a narrower line, I don't feel like dirtying up yet another brush. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to make it like this. Then I'm going to go back into that color. And since this is nice and narrow, I am going to do this on my nose here. There. Now, you guys have noticed that I don't hit the tip of my nose like a lot of people do. The reason for that is when I look at my nose shape, it's kind of got a little bit bulb on top. And if I tried to do just here, it would end up making it look like I got a honker, and I don't. So you really need to consider your own face shape when you're doing things, and it has to do something, it has to look like it makes sense for your look. So your mileage will always vary on this. And I never advocate for anybody contouring their nose because everybody's nose shape is different. And some people think that it can be culturally insensitive to have one culture's standard of beauty for everybody, and that's obviously not cool. And there's no reason why your face shape and your own culture is not beautiful. So just do what looks good for you. Don't think that you need to make yourself look like somebody that you're not because you think it's more socially acceptable. We should be past that now. We should feel that you're beautiful. Let it show. Express yourself. But don't feel that you should be pressured into doing something that you don't relate to just because you think it's fashionable. Do what feels good for you. Okay, I'm going to use my finger this time. I'm going to go back into this highlight because this is the best way to do this. I want to get some highlight just above my cupid's bow. And the best way to do it, I found, if you don't have long nails, you don't want to poke yourself or pick your nose or get it caught in your nose rings if you have one. I'm going to get close up and see if that's right. Okay. Now, one more close up to see if this needs any more blending. You know what? I think this will work. So, I'm going to take my hair down and give you the full effect. See, I didn't put earrings in. I didn't put any jewelry in except what I was already wearing. I wanted to make sure that I got this done while there was still some light. Okay. I didn't even brush my hair. I'm lazy. You know, it's okay to be lazy sometimes. Yeah. Now, what do you think? Do you like it? I hope you do. I do. Now, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls in between, whatever, it's all good. I'm all dressed up with no place to go. Maybe you are too. And I think I gotta show you my cats. Okay, I wanted to get you both cats. I only got one right now. If you like this video, feel free to give it a thumbs up. If you like me and my content, I'd love to have you subscribe. Never know what you're going to get when you join me on my adventures. Take care of yourself. Stay safe. If you hear any sounds out your window, maybe keep low and don't stick your head out. And I will talk to you soon. Meow. Mwah. Cassie says bye. Bye.